Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming, to Master Sakya Dzogchen. Homage to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa and Master Thupten Dorje. Homage to the main deity of the group practice, Siddhikarma Bodhisattva, and homage to the three jewels of the altar. Sumo. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma educators, Dharma instructors, and fellow disciples here and over the internet. And we have only 3 special guests this evening, very few. The wife of Secretary General Daniel Liao, Dharma Sister Judy, and producers for the Geni Tiansang Xingten, Dharma Sister Rebecca Shiachi, and Dr. Ryan Zhuang. Good evening, everyone. How do you do? Cantonese. How do you do? How are you? Thank you. Last Sunday, I also said, see you next week, see you soon. But tomorrow is the sea fair. So it is the tradition for Seattle Leizang Temple to set up a booth there at the sea fair, and we have 2 booths there. So tomorrow morning at 11 we would meet at the temple to go to the Chinatown in Seattle to visit the sea fair, and then we would have lunch, and then we will be back afterwards, soon afterwards. So tomorrow there would be no Homa at the Rainbow Temple. So last week I said, last week at the Rainbow Temple I said, see you next week, see you soon. Actually not at the Rainbow Temple, but would be at the sea fair in Seattle. Today we practice Siddhikarma Bodhisattva, main deity, and it is extremely hot today. It is so hot and there is no breeze at all. So here there is an air conditioning, but you would be even hotter. Oh, that's really too bad for you. But it is really hot, so you must suffer sitting there. I am always afraid of the heat. And even in Taiwan, and when I just came to Seattle, I never sweat. For the first 3 years in Seattle, or the first few years, I never sweat. never sweated in Seattle. So Seattle is heaven. It was very cool. That was how many years ago? I came to United States when I was 38, and now I'm 70. So that would be, you subtract that, 32 years ago. So you could say Seattle 20 years ago, it was very cool here. And that was a time that I would never sweat for the whole year. And so the weather has changed a lot. These days, every summer, it would reach the 90s in Seattle, even in Seattle. And today too, it's so hot, and it's been hot for 1 week. I can't stand it anymore. How come it changed so much like this? So what the Buddha said about impermanence is like this: nothing is permanent. When we just arrived here, there weren't very many Chinese around. When we heard someone speaking Chinese or Taiwanese, and that would be a surprise. That was 30 years ago. And you would feel really close and would ask them, where are you from? But these days, we don't ask anymore because there are too many of them. So that's also called impermanence. The weather is impermanent. The heaven, the earth, and the human beings are all impermanent. So think about it. We just attended Dharma Sister Ellen's wedding. I remember we went to Chinatown and attended her wedding party. Wow, that was impermanence. So impermanence happened for human beings in heavens and on earth. How is the impermanence on earth? In the past, in Seattle, Lizang Temple, there was never a single mosquito. When we just built this Seattle Lizang Temple and the 8 surrounding houses, my dad visited Seattle and he slept here. And he asked us to set the mosquito net. And I told him, there's no mosquito in Seattle. There's no need for the net. And my dad said, wow, this is heaven. No mosquitoes, no need for net in Seattle. That's heaven. But now there are mosquitoes in Seattle. So Vancouver, do you have mosquitoes in Vancouver? There are mosquitoes? Oh no, oh God. In the past, there is no mosquito in Seattle. Little did we know that the mosquitoes also immigrated here to Seattle. And I heard there are even the little bugs, even smaller than mosquitoes. If you have window screens at your homes, this, we call it like the little diamond bolts. They could flew in through this window screens. And these little bugs have occupied all the hills and mountains in Taiwan. And now we have this in Seattle. And when we stroll or when we walk, They're flying on top of your heads. We've never seen this before in Seattle, so what happened? So even the earth is changing. The heavens, the skies also changing, and the human beings are changing. So the old disciples in Seattle, they're all gone. I don't know what happened. Is it game over? Where have they gone? I don't know. So today we practice Siddhikapa Bodhisattva as the main deity. We pray to Siddhikapa Bodhisattva to help to chase away these mosquitoes, so that the Seattle Li-Tsang Temple is free from the mosquitoes, and that we have no mosquitoes at the Rainbow Temple and no fleas, and that they wouldn't be eaten by them. Those who went into retreat there. So Siddhikapa Bodhisattva is in charge of the earth, and Matsu is taking care of the sky and of the ocean. And so there are 6 Siddhikapa Bodhisattvas. There are many of them. So in the 6 rebirth realms, there are Siddhikapa Bodhisattvas. So we hope that Siddhikapa Bodhisattva would bless all of us, so that we are not eaten by the mosquitoes, by the little bugs, by the fleas, that we don't have mice in our house, no cockroaches. I remember when I was living in the Ganshai Ridge, the abode of the Southern Mountain, we have mice. There are mice in every house there. And in America, everything is huge except the mice. Very small. The door, that's the gap under the door. And there's like just a little gap between the floor and the door. I saw the mice, and then lay sideways, and they could screw themselves in through the gap of the door under the door. And the mice are really small as this, and with this little tail, this big. There's some that's bigger than this. And the mice in Taiwan are huge. But in America, they are small. It's very interesting, because everything else in America are huge, like the peanuts. Although they're big, but they're not tasty. But the peanuts in Taiwan are tiny, but they're really tasty. Very delicious. But American peanuts are dull. But American mice are tiny. So when we live there, I pray to Siddhikapa Bodhisattva. Siddhikapa Bodhisattva, we have lots of mice in the house. Could you please chase them away? And we ask the pest control people to catch the mice. And the mice bit on the pipes, and like in the crawl space, and also near the piano, inside the piano. So in the winter time, they stayed in the crawl space near the heater. So they caught 12 mice and they showed it to us. So many, 12 mice. So after praying to Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, they still had 12. And the pest control people told us that's considered very few. You know, across the street, up the hill, they caught about over 30 of them. And in your house, there were only a little over 10. So Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva did help. But the house up the hill, in that house, they caught over 30 mice. But there weren't any mosquitoes before. But recently, there are mosquitoes. So the Taiwanese mosquito repellents can be imported from Taiwan now because there are mosquitoes in the United States these days. So I pray to Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, oh, maybe you can bite other people, but please don't let the mosquitoes bite true Buddha school disciples. We should pray like that. Oh, please protect us. Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, please radiate your light that when the mosquitoes are around, we would have light around our body and the mosquitoes will not be able to bite us. So, and we also pray to Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva so that the weather is cooler. We can't stand this heat anymore. And it's not even August. July and August are the hardest months. So how could it be so hot? It's not even August yet. Oh, here inside is so hot. So Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva is truly great. There are 6 Siddhigarbha Bodhisattvas in 6 rebirth realms, and inside the Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva Basic Vow Sutras, he has lots of manifestations everywhere. And in Japan, so in the Japanese Tantrayana and other temples, there are Siddhigarbha Bodhisattvas, or called Jizo Bodhisattva, everywhere. There are some who are standing and with the shaved head holding a staff. And in many Japanese villages, there are many of these Jizo or Siddhigarbha Bodhisattvas. And the Mount Jiuhua in China is the spiritual center of Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. And the first one who had attainment is by the last name Kim, or Jin, or gold, meaning gold. And by having this last name, Kim, we all think that he is Korean. And this Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva called Jin Chaojie did come from Korea. So at that time, Buddhism was transmitted from India to Tibet to China, and from China to Korea, and then to Japan. So that's the path of the spread of Buddhism. India to Tibet to the Middle Kingdom, and then to Shila, or Korea. At that time, Korea was called Shila Kingdom. And then further to Japan. So that's how the spread of Buddhism was. So inside the Wuteng Huiyuan, the the Zen koans, there were many Koreans that were enlightened. And Jin Chaojie, this Mr. Kim, was from Korea. And he built the spiritual center for Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva at Mount Jiuhua in China. So the first one who emanated in a physical form in the Mount Jiuhua was Mr. Kim, or Jin Chaojie. And in our True Buddha school, the golden Padma Kumaras are typically an emanation or emanations from Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. And Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva and I are brothers. So, if you inadvertently go to hell and then you can speak of Grandmaster's name, then you would be saved. Because the King Yama was under the control of Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. And when I came to this world, Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva also sent an attendant alongside me. And he is called the Smiling King of Ghosts. And he is residing here on my tongue. So he is my protector inside my body that was sent by Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, my attendant, the Smiling King of Ghosts. So when I suffer from great calamity, this Smiling King of Ghosts would appear and protect Grandmaster. So this is my affinity with Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. There are affinities in this. And the reason why I have this such profound affinity with Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, because I'm rather short, so I'm quite close to the earth. Because the meaning of the Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva is also earth store Bodhisattva. So those of you who are short would have greater affinity with Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. But actually, Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva is quite tall. I know that Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva has the Pure Land in hell. And it is called Cui Wei Pure Land. And you cannot find this anywhere. If you have iPad, you could check. Can you find it on the internet anywhere? And he has 8 messengers and one with great power. And he has a pet. It's called Di Ting, and that's also his seat. So this animal means that if he put his ears on earth, he would know of all information on earth. So other than my Dharma teachings, this Pure Land of Siddhigarbha called Cui Wei Pure Land has only been mentioned by Grandmaster and not by anybody else. So I know of this Pure Land, and you cannot find it anywhere in the sutras or anywhere. So it's only been spoken by me alone. That's why it's quite amazing. That's why I have great affinity with Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. So can you check what Pure Land Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva has? So that's quite amazing. You cannot find it on the internet, you cannot find it in the sutras, but I know the Pure Land of Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. because I have been there. If you inadvertently went into the spirit world, and if you speak of Grandmaster's name, it would be beneficial to you, because I've been there propagating the Buddha Dharma. And there is a witness in Taiwan. What was his name? In Taiwan. There is a woman by the name Zheng Yihua, and she was very sick. And her spirit or soul went to hell. And when she got to hell, she saw me spreading Buddha Dharma there. And I saw Zheng Yihua, and I told her, you should not be here. You should not be here. You should return to the living world. And she asked, but how? And I remember it like this. If I remember it correctly, I pointed, because that was at the Iron Wall mountain, and I pointed to a small hole and asked her to go through it. And this woman listened to my words and went in and into this hole. And then she returned, her soul returned to the hospital and returned to her body. And the body woke up from her coma. And she told a lot of people that in the spirit world, she saw Grandmaster Lu propagating Buddha Dharma. So there was a witness. When she came back to life, she gave a witness. And she gave a witness at the Taiwan Lechang Temple in Taiwan. She was not related to me. I didn't know her before, and at that time, she was not a disciple of the Buddha school, but she recognized me in hell. So we had witnesses, and Grandmaster also knew of the Pure Land of Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. And I also saved Master Lien Yi. And save him from hell too. There were several of them, several people. If you could be mindful, or if you could chant the Om Guru Lien Sam Siddhi Home, then immediately Padma Kumara would appear next to you, that even in front of the Yama King, then you would be saved immediately. If you knew how to recite the mantra, then you would be saved. There was another person, a Dr. Wang, an Okjin in Taiwan, and he's passed away now. And one time he was involved in a car accident and suffered terrible injury, and he was in the hospital, and someone put Grandmaster's dragon vest on top of his body. And it is very interesting. He was already in hell, lining up to meet the King Yama. And finally, he's in front of the Yama King, and the Yama King asked, "What's your name?" And he said, "Dr. Wang." "So what is it that you're wearing?" And he didn't know, and he looked, and so that robe belongs to Grandmaster Lu. And And King Yama said, since you have affinity with Grandmaster Lu, I'll send you back to the living world. So Dr. Wang always tell the story to anybody he met. He didn't know who put Grandmaster's robe on top of him. And because of that, his life was saved. He was a friend and a doctor that I knew when I was in Taiwan. This Dr. Wang stayed. There was a railroad track in Taichung, and passed by that was Dr. Wang's clinic. I don't know if it's still there now. But on Taichung Road, just past the railroad track, that was his clinic. And he was an Dzogchen and had saved many lives. And then there was this cause and condition that he was saved by this. And Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva was really great. There were 6 Siddhigarbha Bodhisattvas, and also Siddhigarbha. There was a sutra of Siddhigarbha of the 10 grounds. That was the sutra. And in the sutra, the names of Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva are numerous, more than the 6 Siddhigarbha. So he has innumerable manifestations or emanations. So he's really great. So now let's talk more about the Great Perfection Dharma. So Samanta Bhadra Tathagata, that's also the primordial Buddha or the Adi Buddha, or in Chinese called Po Shen. And now talking about the second virtue. The name Po Shen or Samanta Bhadra Tathagata is embedded within the wisdom seeds of sentient beings. People in the world never heard of it. Sentient beings were not aware of him. He is the Dharmakaya that is completely hidden in the infinite realm. Because he was unheard of, that is why he is referred as the infinite. If you're not studying Tantric Buddhism, or if you're not a Buddhist at all, or a Tantric Buddhist, you would never heard of the name Adi Buddha or Atta Irma Buddha. Even now, Samanta Bhadra Tathagata is rarely heard of. So this Chinese name Po Shen in Taiwanese is called Po Han, and in Mandarin it's called Po Shen, and between Taiwanese and Mandarin that would be Po Shen. So the name Po Shen is embedded within the wisdom seeds of each sentient being. So inside each sentient being, the name Po Shen is embedded, but most people never heard of it. Sentient beings were not aware, do not recognize him, do not know him. If you say the Po Shen Rulai or the Adi Buddha or Samanta Bhadra Tathagata, people will not know him. So in all the realms, his Dharmakaya is hidden in it. So in order to attain Buddhahood, you need to start from the seeds of the wisdom of sentient beings. So inside your heart, you need to find this name, Po Shen, Samanta Bhadra. if you know that inside you there is a seed of the Tathagata, and on top of that, if you see it, then you can attain Buddhahood. So his second virtue is that his Dharmakaya is hidden inside the seeds of sentient beings because it is unseen and unheard of. It is infinite. There is this joke. There is a woman, a lady, looking at herself at the mirror, and the husband is reading newspaper. And the wife said, "Hey, hubby, wow, I've changed to be so ugly and fat and old. Now I need your support and praise." And the husband, looking at the newspaper, said, "Okay, well, you have good eyesight." That's his praise of her. So, as a human being, one can change to become ugly and fat and old. Can it happen? Yes. So let's set a good example. A picture of my youth, and if you compare it with the actor of the Korean miniseries Coming from the Stars, and if you put both pictures side by side, a fellow disciple did that, and then I took a look at these two pictures. And what was the name of the actor? Also Kim? Well, he's Korean. Many Koreans have the family name Kim. So Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, the first one was also Kim, Mr. Kim, from Shila. But when I took a look at these two pictures, I thought I look more like Kim, more than he did. My eyes are very deep and very meaningful. But his eyes also, although good looking, but more outward. That's more, it shows a bit more like vice, you know, but deep eyes are very, much more appealing. So now I'm praising myself here. But from that photo till the Grandmaster of today, I would sigh, because now I gain weight. I cannot say that I'm handsome now. I would say I'm uglier or not less good looking and old. When I was young, I have long eyelashes, but now I almost have none left. Oh, I feel sorry. Where have they gone? Oh, because it was covered by my drooping eyelids, as Simu said. So Simu's eyesight is still good. So uglier, fatter, and older. I really need your praise. So we all change. How could we maintain our youth? That photo was from my college time. My hair was sideways. I was wearing we call it a suit, and with high collar, and I really like looking at that photo. If I could maintain it all the time for eternity, well, but I still have problems with my height. Otherwise, I could join the like a TV show, TV show, like a dating show, a TV dating show, and then I can turn off lots of the girls' lights. But too bad. Human beings change. And you know what? My tallest height was 163 centimeter. And in the dating show, the man has to be in the 170s and above. So I had no hope. And I had my medical checkup, and I do it once a year. And the doctor told me that you don't need to take anything because you're in great health. And he told me not to take any medicines and nothing. You're in great health. The cholesterol was only in 160. My blood pressure, 119. The systolic and diastolic is 75. And my blood glucose was under the range. And no high triglycerides. My liver, my kidney were normal. All my organs, everything was normal. I have no problems whatsoever with my health. Before I had a little bit problems, but now I don't. Everything is normal. How about vitamins? It's up to you. You can either take them or not for the supplements. But I checked my height. I thought I would still be 163 centimeter. But oh my God. Oh my God. I got shorter. See, even the height can change. I should take the Fu to increase my height. Fu or the talisman. The person who draw the Fu is Reverend Lily, right? Why don't you draw me a height Fu? So at 70, I still want to grow taller, and then I want to join the dating game on TV. You need to help me so that I can grow to be over 170 centimeter. So everything can change. Only one thing will never change. Is the consciousness of Adi Buddha that is hidden inside each individual's body. It stays forever, doesn't matter where you are being reborn or wherever you go. And this is the second virtue of the Adi Buddha. So that is the seed of the Buddha, the seed of the Tathagata that's inside you would never change. So if you eliminate all the obscurations and around it, then you would be able to find it. One day, a salesman was trying to sell a running machine, and then this was at I ran on the road and I don't need to pay anything. Well, the salesman said, but if you run at home, then you can run naked. And in this hot weather, as soon as you come home, if you exercise at home, then you can exercise without a shred. Nobody can see. It's your freedom. But you cannot do it on the streets. Because if you do so, the policeman will come and catch you. And in Taiwan, there would be a crime. But you can do so at home. So in this kind of weather at home, to exercise, you would be really free. Take everything off. And then at home, you can run on the running machine. But let me tell you, human beings add bondage to ourselves. So the handcuffs and the bondages are something that you add to yourself. If you liberate yourselves, or you can say it this way, that the Buddha nature is completely naked. And if you free everything around it, then the Buddha nature would show itself. We are held in bondage by a lot of things, say by our clothes. Like that female disciple from Vancouver, she kept saying, "It's so hot. Why do you wear the dragon vest? It's so hot. Why do you wear this llama outfit or this long sleeves? Take them off. It's so hot, and you still wear the underwear." I'm wearing underwear. She likes to see bare muscles. And she said, you know, "Grandmaster, you're a muscle man. You should show your muscles, your abs and triceps and biceps." And I replied to her, because I've shown it, and it would be only for once at my 70 in Taiwan. Once is enough, because we're held in bondage by all the religious fields. Because in Buddhism, Buddhists cannot show everything. They could only show the right shoulders. It's very rare to see a monk or a nun swim, or wearing bikinis or swimsuits. The nuns wearing bikinis swimming, or monks swimming in swim trunks. It's okay for lay practitioners, but for lay practitioners, for the male wearing the swim trunks, nobody would criticize. But a great monk swimming in swimming trunks, have you seen any? I did it only once, swimming in a swim trunk with everyone when we went to Edmonton from Seattle, and on the way in Calgary, in a hotel, only once I swam with many masters, reference, monks, nuns. Were they a nun? Were there nuns there? No. Yes. Even nuns? Was it Master Lian Jie? There were many masters swimming, and also the ladies swimming together in the swimming pool. And swimming for a while, and I was showing my thumbs, that my thumbs can bend over. Most thumbs are straight, but my thumbs can bend over. Can you do that? Some people, they cannot bend the thumbs backward. So I was showing them this. When I did this, everybody else also doing it. Was also doing it. Lots of people in the swimming pool. And we were doing that. And a picture was taken at that time. And then they cut off and they clipped the photo. And what's left is there were only 2 people doing that. And it looked like as if it was in a bathtub, in a tub. Only me and another woman, because they cut off everybody else from the photo. Oh heavens. And that photo was the cause of my defamation, because they clipped off the photo. That was in a swimming pool in Calgary. I was swimming with everybody. And many people criticized me that you were a great monk. How could you wear a swimming trunk? There are women here and there are women, a number of women here, a number of women there taking a photo. So the society put on the bondage upon us, and also the religious ethics and norm put on the bondage. If I'm the founder of Buddhism, in this hot weather, I would say it's okay to wear swimming trunk, even here on the Dharma seat giving Dharma teaching. But it was too bad that it was established by Sakyamuni Buddha, and it has lots of rules, and that your naked body cannot be seen by others. So we put on the bondages upon us. But the true Buddha nature is completely naked. And that is the true Buddha nature, the genuine Buddha nature. So the seeds of Tathagata's wisdom is also completely naked. It cannot be held in bondage at all. Nothing can hold it in bondage. So actually there is an image of a naked Sakyamuni Buddha. See, when we had the ceremony of bathing the Buddha, that young child image of Sakyamuni Buddha, that with one hand pointing to the sky and one hand pointing to the earth, that was completely naked, right? Oh no, it's wearing a robe. Oh, that robe must be put on by human beings, by people, because the real image would have been naked, completely naked. The husband said, Li's wife was good looking and Chen's wife was bad looking. And the wife asked, how about me? Well, you're the combination of both of them, of the 2 of them. So the wife asked, so is it good looking or bad looking? In Chinese, it's really bad looking, which is good bad looking. In Chinese, like how, which is good, good bad, which is like really bad. So what is good looking and what is badly looking? Your artistic, aesthetics, taste is different for everyone. What is good looking? What is bad looking? But in terms of the Buddha nature, everyone is the same. It is radiant, naked, and with infinite virtues, infinite light, infinite time, brilliant, clear light, empty, bliss. So Buddha nature encompasses all those. There isn't anything called good looking or bad looking. And this would be a true merit. This is the merit of virtue number 2. There is no good looking, no bad looking. It is radiant, it is blissful, it is empty, it is naked. Only then it is Buddha nature and the virtue of the Tathagata. The husband told the wife, "Oh, honey, I have some problem. Why don't you send me money?" And the wife, "Okay, what happened?" And the husband said, "Oh, I stayed in a motel, and I was smoking and put a hole on the carpet, 3 holes, and one hole, $500 for one hole, so a total of $1,500. And the wife said, "Are you sure?" And the husband said, "Yes, I need $1,500. And the wife replied, "Then why don't you burn the 3 holes into one hole? And you only pay $500. So the wife was really smart. Then you only pay, if 1,000 one hole, 3,000 3 holes, then you make it one hole. But in terms of Buddha nature, it is no discrimination. There isn't the so-called big or small, and it has no form. It could be as big as there is no outside, and as small as there is no inside. So Buddha nature is inside the body of each individual, and it is also of infinite life and infinite light. So there isn't the so-called 1 or 3. There's no differentiation between 1 and 3. Remember one day at the office, we had really extremely gorgeous ladies, and the skin is really smooth and fair and very sexy, selling lotteries. I mean yogurt, a kind of yogurt drink. And then the ladies asked, "Is there any man that would like to drink it every day? I would send it every day for you." And all the men said, "Yeah, we all want them." But the next day, there was an elderly lady that's sending the yogurt drink. But in terms of the Buddha nature, there is no differentiation. There is no young and old, no extremely gorgeous or handsome man. There is no dualism, no relativity. Only then it would be called virtue. The last joke. The wife is cooking in the kitchen, very busy, and sweats are falling. And the husband was sitting, relaxing. And he said, "Oh, I know. If you eat brain, you tonify the brain, and you eat the tendons, you tonify the tendon." And the wife cooked the pork heart and liver, and the husband was eating, and the wife said, "Oh, this is to tonify those without heart and liver." In Chinese meaning, actually without heart. That's because there's incrimination. In Chinese, we often say you eat something to tonify something. Chinese often say that. Whatever body parts you eat, you tonify that body parts. But in terms of the Buddha nature, there's no need to tonify. Whether you are healthy or really weak, whether you're old or young, beautiful or ugly, there are no differentiations whatsoever. And it is totally equal in terms of the Buddha nature. And only this would be called the virtue or merit of the Tathagata.